Okay, good morning. My name is Widatul Husnia, a master's student in accounting at Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Today, I am proud to present my thesis entitled Implementation of Accounting Conservatism, Review from the Perspective of Pancasila Accounting, a Phenomenological Study at PTX Cirebon. Today's presentation is structured into 9 main chapters, moving from Chapter 1 Introduction, Chapter 2 Literature Review, Chapter 3 Research Methodology, Chapter 4 Epoch and Breathing, Chapter 5 Textual Description, Chapter 6 Structural Description, Chapter 7 Essential Synthesis, Chapter 8 Discussion and Interpretation, to Chapter 9 Conclusion. Chapter 1 about the rule of accounting. Accounting is not just data numbers. It is the primary source of economics information reflecting operational reality. However, the greatest challenge lies in presenting the true value and maintaining information quality through an ethical and prudent approach. Okay, accounting conservatism serves as the principle of prudence. Technically, it demands the immediate recognition of expenses and delays revenue recognition until realized, preventing revenue manipulation, deferred expense, and asset overvaluation amidst business uncertainty. Reality shows massive moral failures. In Indonesia, we witness the case of Jiwasraya and Asabri. Globally, there are Wirecard in Germany, Luckin Cafe in China, and Paratium to VTX in the US. These scandals occur due to value manipulation and the loss of prudence in pursuit of opportunistic profits. Based on bibliometric analysis from 2015 to 2024, conservatism research is heavily dominated by quantitative methods focusing on earning management and GCG. This is my research gap. Studies exploring moral, spiritual, and local cultural dimension like Pancasila remain critically scarce. Urgency of Pancasila accounting integration, current professional skepticism is too mechanical ya. When morals collapse, technical regulation always find loop. And then the integration of Pancasila accounting is urgent as an alternative paradigm that criticizes modern capitalism, reconstructing prudence based on 5 core values. Okay, PTX Cirebon was selected because it represents high local business dynamics with performance pressure, vulnerable to information distortion. Through a phenomenological approach, I explore how their internal ethical experiences bridge accounting practices with local morality. Based on the background, the problem statement of this study is rooted in the imbalance between applying technical, mechanical aspect of modern accounting prudence and neglecting the moral spiritual dimension, which often triggers conflict of interest and information distortion. Okay, from this statement, I propose 3 research questions. First, how is accounting conservatism measured and implemented at PTX Cirebon? Second, what is its impact on stakeholders? And third, how is it harmonization with Pancasila values explored? Okay, in line with this question, the research objectives are first to identify and analyze the measurement and implementation of accounting conservatism at PTX Cirebon, and second to analyze its impact on stakeholders, and third to explore its harmonization with Pancasila values. How about research contribution and benefits? The research benefits are a fold: the theoretical contribution to developing Pancasila-based accounting theory, practical contribution for management in handling conflicts of interest, social contribution for information justice and policy, contribution for regulators. And then moving into chapter 2, phenomenology is used to understand conservatism not as a rigid technical rule, but as the life experience of accountants within their everyday consciousness or Lebenswelt. And then the Hazardian elements I adopt include epoch to suspend my prejudice as a researcher intentionally to examine the focus of the informants, as well as phenomenological and eidetic reduction to distill the pure essence of prudence. How about concept of accounting conservatism? Empirically, conservatism is driven by profitability, leverage, and CFO character. However, contradiction in previous findings prove that financial parameters alone cannot explain why fraud still occurs even when formal prudence is applied. Pancasila accounting rejects material absolutism through Pancasila enterprise theory and Pancasila bottom line. Accounting is reconstructed to be accountable not just to shareholders, but holistically to God, humanity, and the universe. And then the evolution of Pancasila accounting from 2015 to 2025 shows rapid progress, moving from theoretical foundation and Sharia integration to digital ethics and governance transparency and crypto assets ethics in the modern context. And then synthesis Pancasila conservatism. The synthesis of this research builds a moral map. This research builds a moral map. Conservatism Pancasilais based on 45 butir Pancasila ketetapan MPR nomor 18 MPR 1998. The first sila is spiritual honesty, the second sila is protecting human dignity, the third sila is safeguarding economic stability, the fourth sila as collective policy deliberation, and the fifth sila is the fair distribution of information risk. This is a conceptual framework of Hazarlian in this research. Okay. At chapter 3, explain the research design based on Edmund Husserl transcendental phenomenology. Ontologically, accounting reality is a construction of consciousness. Epistemologically, truth is drawn from life experience. And axiologically, it is value-laden with Pancasila. The study was conducted at PTX Cirebon using purposive sampling. Key informants included the head of accounting, senior accountants, finance staff, and management with more than 3 years of experience, posed by 2 academics expert for triangulation. Okay, data were gathered through 3 techniques. Semi-structured in-depth interviews to harvest ethical narratives, non-participant observation of daily workplace behavior, and documentation of financial statement and corporate SOPs. Okay, data analysis procedure. 6 stage. 1 is approach, breathing. 2, horizontalization. 3, clustering of meaning units. 4, factual description, what is experienced by informant. And then structural description, how the experience is formed. And then the last, synthesis of meaning and essence. Data validity is ensured through credibility with triangulation, transferability, dependability, and confirmability. The study also strictly adhered to academic ethics, including informed consent and guaranteed participant anonymity. And then about research timeline from January until May 2026. And then 1st January is for preparation, February until March, data collection, April, data analysis, and then last May, synthesis and final report. Okay, and then thesis structure. Chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, literature review and prior studies. And chapter 3, research methodology. Chapter 4, epoch and breathing. Chapter 5, textual description, what is experienced by informants. Chapter 6, structural description, how the experience is formed. Chapter 7, essential synthesis, core meaning of conservatism. Chapter 8, discussion and critical interpretation. Chapter 9, conclusion. Chapter 4, the epoch process successfully cleared my initial assumption that view conservatism merely as an instrument for ethical compliance. My consciousness shift upon discovering that for the informants, prudence is an experience of honesty and safety. Essence of pure consciousness, conservatism is understood as a prudential practice that not only protects the economic interests of the company but also maintains trust, justice, and social responsibility in line with the value of Pancasila. And then chapter 5, captures the textual description of what the information was, what the informants experience. They face real pressure from business uncertainty, target tensions, and moral dilemmas. Professional anxiety arise if financial reports potentially mislead readers. And then chapter 6 show how this experience is formed. This experience of prudence is shaped by the internalization of Pancasila values and the close family-like culture at PTX. Accountants realize the numbers they write directly impact the livelihoods of their colleagues. And chapter 7 concludes the deepest essence of the phenomenon. Accounting conservatism is fundamentally not a mere financial mathematical formula or a standard rule, but a moral consciousness aimed at honesty, sustaining the survival and balance of the organization. And then discussion interpretation confronting the positivistic paradigm. Chapter 8, we discussed the findings. The conventional positivistic paradigm evaluates prudence purely as an economic efficiency mechanism or a litigation shield driven by egoistic contractual interests. And then, conversely, from a phenomenological perspective, conservatism is revealed as a reflection of empathy and ethical responsibility, where accountants act as conscious human beings aware of the consequences of their accounting choices. And then research synthesis, conservatism encompasses two dimensions, objective dimension, accounting policies, financial figures, and accounting standards, and intersubjective dimension, moral meaning, empathy, and responsibility. This phenomenological study doesn't seek to replace positivistic approach. For discussion conclusion, accounting conservatism at PTX is an ethical practice that embodies the values of divinity, humanity, unity, deliberation, and social justice. Therefore, the development of accounting in Indonesia should be directed toward a more humanistic, ethical paradigm rooted in Pancasila values. And about theoretical contribution, accounting is understood not only as an economic phenomenon, but also as a social and moral phenomenon. And then Pancasila can serve a philosophical foundation for the development of Indonesian accounting. And then conservatism evolves from a technical principle into moral awareness and social responsibility. Phenomenological approach is able to reveal human dimension. They are not visible in quantitative research. And then about Pancasila-based accounting conservatism is about prudential practice in measurement, recognition, and financial reporting are not only aimed at reducing economic risk, but also at upholding honesty and truthworthiness, and preserving human dignity, maintaining organizational harmony, and then prioritizing deliberation, realizing fairness of information for all stakeholders. And then harmonization with Pancasila values. Finally, divinity is conservatism as trust and integrity, and humanity is protection, truth parties or stakeholders, and unity, maintaining organizational harmony, democracy and deliberation, accounting decision through collective, and then social justice, creating fairness and balance of information. Okay, finally, in chapter 9, the conclusions confirm that PTX Cirebon successfully implements the principle of prudence by delaying and ascertaining revenues and establishing transparent expense provisions. And then core conclusion is the primary conclusion of this study is the birth of the concept of Pancasila's accounting conservatism, a financial reporting practice that transcends technical mechanical boundaries toward conscientious, humanistic, and spiritual accounting framework. Recommendation for companies and practitioners, and then I recommend companies continuously nurture an ethical corporate culture free from interventions. For accounting practical, it is time to transform from mere technical accountants into proactive moral agents. And then future research and academic outlook. For academics, accounting curricula should be enriched with qualitative and humanistic approach future and then future research can expand this paradigm within COS or MSMS, and then using mixed method my profound gratitude to my advisors and examiners. Accounting is honesty and Pancasila it is soul. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.